Welcome to Deck Analysis and Testing. Today we have a look at True Draco. True Draco is a floodgate deck, well, at least in the TCG and Master Duel. In Duel Links, we don't have the Monarch floodgate that is basically a skill drain, so here it's a really cheap but also really mid control deck. This deck centers around tribute summoning using continuous spells and traps instead of monsters. And when you do that, you can also trigger the graveyard effects of your back row to pop your opponent's card. And you can do that in both players' turns, so you can also use that as a disruption as well. Any back row that you use for tribute fodder also gets immediately replenished as soon as your opponent does any sort of action. And while the skill doesn't really do anything too crazy, it does give you free copies of the Broken Field spell, which is both a searcher and protects your guys on field as well. Alright, let's quickly go over the cards. First, we have Dynamite Knight, the True Draco Fighter. This is a level 6 water. All of the True Dracos that we're playing have 24 or 25, I think? 23, 24. And 25, yep. And this one is the Trap Searcher. And you can tribute summon this card using a continuous spell or trap, even if it's face down. And then if your opponent activates any effect, you can you can activate directly or add to your hand a True Draco trap from your deck. In this heat is exactly the same, except it searches for a spell, and Majesty Maiden searches for a monster. The trap one is the best one because the trap is pretty strong. The spell is the second best one, and the monster one is pretty much only useful if you have enough back row already, but it also gets you more guys to summon, which is always nice, so we're still playing one copy. We're playing 3 copies of Planet Pathfinder. This guy is really strong because the field spell is really strong. The field spell is not once a turn, by the way, so if you have multiple copies, you can just activate one, use the effect. I mean, it is once per turn, but not hard once per turn. So you can activate another copy, and then use the effect again, and then search another guy. Yeah, it's pretty good. And speaking of the field spell, the skill is all it does is give you the field spell. If your deck has 15 or more True Draco cards, or True King cards, you just get 3 copies of the field spell. And the field spell is pretty simple in its effects. It protects all of your monsters from being destroyed by battle once per turn, and also once per turn as a soft once per turn. You can destroy a card from your hand or field, and then add a True Draco or True King card from your deck to your hand. It's a really strong searcher, also not hard once per turn. Ridiculous card. For the spells and traps, we're playing 1 copy of Terraforming to search the field spell, 1 copy of True Draco Heritage, probably the most expensive card in our entire deck. This card can draw cards equal to the number of True Draco and True King card types that is sent to the graveyard during the turn you use this effect. And also, if it's sent to the graveyard, you pop a back row. And same with Disciples, it also pops a back row when it's sent to graveyard, but it has the ignition effect to shuffle back 3 different named True Draco or True King cards from your graveyard back to your deck, and then you draw a card for free. For the traps, we're playing 2 copies of True King's Return. This thing is a reborn. It can special summon a True Draco card from your graveyard and special summon it in defense. And unfortunately, because the True Draco cards can't use their effects if it's not tribute summoned, it's just gonna give you guys on the field. It won't let you use the effects to search back row, but it's still pretty strong. And also, if it's sent to graveyard, you just pop a monster. And same with True Draco Apocalypse. Also, when it's sent to graveyard, pop a monster. And then this card has the effect to pop a True King or True Draco card to halve all of your opponent's monsters' attack and defense by half. Yeah, by half. It's permanent. So you can just keep using it until your opponent's monsters have really low attack, even if they have a monster with a ridiculous amount of attack. Like I've used this on Ark Rebellion, and even if they have like 8,000 attack, you can just halve it once, make it 4k, and then halve it another time, make it 2k. You know, it's permanent, so you just keep doing it until your opponent monsters can't beat over your monsters. And so you can use this during the damage step to fizzle an attack if you destroy the monster that your opponent is attacking. And also, the spells and traps also have additional effects. The spells can use once per turn, allow you to perform a tribute summon immediately during your turn, and the trap allows you to perform a tribute summon immediately in your opponent's turn. So the spells give you extra summons, the traps give you disruption. For the extra deck, we're playing a bunch of links that we will never use, so I will not go over them. Alright, let's have a look at the expensive version, which isn't that expensive because, you know, this deck is not expensive. We're just playing the 2 Draco cards, and instead of terraforming, we're just playing more copies of the Heritage. This card's pretty good, gives you free draws, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And also, you know, free return. That's it. That's the main deck. The extra deck doesn't even matter too much. It's just better generic Xyz and Link monsters that we'll probably never use because you don't need the extra deck for this deck. So yeah, let's have a look at the replays then. Alright, in this game we are going second. This deck actually doesn't have too bad of a time going second because of how the back row interaction with your opponent's stuff when you use them as a tribute fodder. Our opponent doesn't really have a good board, so let's try cracking it open. We're gonna set the trap, tribute summon by tributing the trap, and then we can pop a monster. And then we're just gonna go grab our field spell, go search another monster, true Draco Heritage when popped can pop a back row, and our opponent will chain Book of Moon, we'll chain our monster because our opponent activated a card effect. We're gonna grab another monster, the one that we're missing. We'll pop the face down using the non Heart of Us per turn field spell effect. We're gonna grab ourselves more stuff for us to tribute. We're gonna use a free draw, and then we're gonna tribute summon, and then we're gonna pop our opponent's remaining back row, activate another copy of the spell, and then just pass back to them. Our opponent activates anything, we can go set the trap, and the trap allows us to tribute summon during their turn, and that will use our back row as material, and then when you trigger its graveyard effect to pop a card on the field, so we can pop the level 3 tuner and prevent them from doing your combo. In game 2, we're facing against Kite, we're going first. This deck is also fine going first, even though, I don't know, actually, I think it might prefer going second, just because its turn 1 board isn't actually very good. It's just like one pop, pretty much, and one pop is not very good. So we'll try to make something happen. We're just gonna go through the motions. We're gonna end on the field spell plus 2 monsters on field. That gets us 1 spell and 1 trap. That's enough for 1 disruption. Our opponent is playing Galaxy Eye, so we're going to activate Trade-In. We're gonna grab ourselves the trap as soon as we could. Our opponent will activate the effect of Brave to summon itself. We'll chain the Ignis Heat to grab ourselves the spell. And with the trap, we can pop our cards whenever we want to half our opponent's monster's attack. So our opponent will be making full armor photon, and then we're just waiting for him to use the pop, because even if he popped any of the cards on our field, it's kind of fine. We don't really care too much, right? So we're just gonna wait for him to try to do something. He's gonna pop the field spell, funnily enough. And then he's gonna make the Cypher Blade to attempt to pop another card. We left him pop one of our monsters, that's fine. And then we'll just reduce all of his monster's attack so that he can't really beat over anything. He can still banish the guy with using the effect of Photon Dragon and then attack for 900, but it's just 900, so whatever. We're gonna at least be able to attack over the Xyz that we reduced the attack of. And he's gonna grab back another Photon Dragon. Unfortunately, he has a Photon Stream, so he's gonna banish one of our traps. That's not too big of a deal, though. He's gonna make another link to make the Gyusu. Unfortunately, it doesn't really target, so we can have to use the effect of the trap beforehand. And we're gonna reduce all of his guys' attack so that he can't really beat us over. during his battle phase. Photon Vanisher thankfully cannot attack during the turn it's summoned, so we are safe from lethal. We top deck Planet Pathfinder, pretty good one. We can normal summon it, grab ourselves a field spell, use the effective continuous spell, shuffle back 3, joy card. This is not too good, but it's fine. We can still pop it, even though we can't normal summon it. We'll use the spell effect to do an extra tribute summon and then just beat over him, because he is low on life points. So we just do this and win the game. Cool. Alright, we have our final game. We're facing against Raidraptors, and we're rocking a really big win streak for absolutely no reason. People just keep scooping in like King of Games. It's just like either bots or just people who scoop. So yeah, this win streak doesn't really mean anything. It's just I spent a really long time in King of Games trying to get some decent replays for this deck specifically. I don't know why it took so long. It didn't take that long for, the Cyber Dragon video, but I don't know why. I was just like very unlucky with my opponents with this deck specifically. And just people just keep scooping. So yeah, our opponent is going to do Raidraptor combos, and with the new Cyber Dragon Infinity. That's pretty cool, and also pretty annoying. Usually it's really annoying to out an Omni Negate. For our deck, it's not too big of a deal because we can force it out by tribute summoning using a trap. But we have to get to the trap, so we're going to try to do that by grabbing a field spell using Terraforming. Our opponent was going to make a Dark Requiem, which only negates monster effects, so that shouldn't be too big of a problem. We're going to use Draco Diagram to grab ourselves a trap, set a trap, and then tribute summon using the trap. The trap will pop a monster on the field. This forces out the Cyber Dragon Infinity Negate, and then we can just like activate another field spell, and then activate the effect again, grabbing ourselves a spell. Now that our opponent's negate is gone, we can safely activate it without worrying it's being negated. We will set the trap that we top deck, and then we just attack over the Infinity so that we don't have to worry about it ever again. Our opponent is going to special summon a Strange Atlanteus, and then summon and exceed summon a Raiders Knight. Raiders Knight is obviously going to bring out a Arc Rebellion. And Arc Rebellion, fun fact, negates your own card. So now his Dark Requiem is negated by his own Arc Rebellion. Not that it matters because we can just beat over it after we half its attack, but it's funny. We're going to, during our turn, use the trap to pop the Dark Requiem. He can't negate that because it can only negate monster effects. Our opponent will use Arc Requiem again, but we have to trap at half's attack, so the Arc Rebellion can't really beat over anything, so he's just gonna scoop. Alright.